Hello and welcome to the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball Preview Show presented by the Hawaiian Islands. I'm Chloë, joined by Rob Espero, and we're here on the campus of Long Beach State University, the site of the 2024 National Collegiate Men's Volleyball Championship. Over the next hour, Rob and I will bring you coaches, players, stats, stories, and everything else you need to know to get ready for the Big West Men's Volleyball season. Rob, our preview begins with breaking news, the world premiere of the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball preseason poll.
Well, the Big West coaches have spoken, and it's going to be yet another exciting and electrifying season in the Big West. So let's take a peek at how those teams stack up.
The Matadors of CSUN. The second-year head coach, Theo Edwards, has a talented setter in Donovan Constable and strong outside in Kyle Hobus back for more action in 2024. The Tritons of UCSD. Going into his second season as head coach, Brad Rostratter is establishing his core of young players, most of whom are coming back and dialed into the Rostratter system. Coming in at number 4, the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. If there's a common theme in the Gaucho program, it's that head coach Rick McLaughlin and his staff are always able to get 150% out of all he's got. Pushing in at number 3, the Anteaters of UC Irvine. Coach David Niffen brings back a lot of familiar faces like Hilaire Heno and Max Grigoriev, who are pivotal in their late season success in 2023. Entering in at number 2, the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. Being at the number 2 position is something the Bows and Charlie Wade haven't seen in 3 years, but anyone who's familiar with Hawaii men's volleyball knows they'll be battling back in. And receiving the number 1 spot in the 2024 Big West preseason poll, the Beach of Long Beach State. Head coach Alan Knipe returns most of his starting lineup along with pivotal role players from 2023 that include Simon Torwey and Aiden Knipe.
Rob, we've seen the teams, but what about the players to watch out for this year?
Well, Chloe, the Big West preseason all-conference team is a regular who's who in college men's volleyball. Watch this.
Mason Briggs, senior libero, Long Beach State. This 4-time AVCA All-American and 4-time All-Big West honoree has been nothing short of stellar in serve-receive, delivering pinpoint passes on defense, keeping balls in play, and notching more point-scoring opportunities for the Beach. Espero Hawkes, senior outside hitter, Hawaii. This 2-time AVCA All-American, 2-time All-Big West honoree, and 3-time Big West Player of the Week in 2023 looks to be an even greater offensive threat in 2024. Espero seems to have the natural ability to come up big in the clutch. Hilaire Heno, junior outside hitter, UC Irvine. Already a 2-time AVCA All-America honoree and 2-time All-Big West honoree, Hilaire finished the 2023 season averaging a phenomenal .88 aces per set, which is good for first, not only in the Big West, but the entire NCAA. Kyle Hobus, redshirt senior, outside hitter from CSUN. This 3-time All-Big West honoree is both an offensive and defensive threat for the Matadors. Kyle led the Matadors with a career-high 341 kills and averaged 3.59 kills per set. Aiden Knipe, senior setter, Long Beach State. The 2-time AVCA honorable mention embodies the Beach's grit mentality, orchestrating one of the most lethal offenses in the nation. Aiden led Long Beach State to a team at .337 attack percentage to rank 2nd in the Big West and 4th in the nation in 2023. Sotiris Shapanis, junior outside hitter, Long Beach State. Sotos, in only his second D1-2 season, was named second-team AVCA All-American and All-Big West first team. The Super Cypriot led Long Beach State in kills per set and points per set to rank 7th in both respective categories in the Big West. Guillerme Voss, senior middle blocker, Hawaii. This back-to-back AVCA All-American continues to provide pop in the middle to spread the offense with a team-leading .559 hitting percentage in 2023 and also has the ability to shut down top hitters.
Congratulations to the players on the preseason all-conference team. Rob, as you look at the upcoming season, give me a few other players that excite you.
Oh, for sure. Take a peek at Chaz Galloway, outside hitter for the University of Hawaii. He's a high flyer for the Rainbow Warriors, always fun to watch. The other player to look out for is Brett Sheward of UC Irvine. Started his career at Hawaii as a setter, became a 2-time national champion libero, transfers to UC Irvine to start setting.
We've got plenty more for you in our preview, including an inside look at the Matadors of CSUN. That's up next when the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball Preview Show presented by the Hawaiian Islands rolls on.
It's easy to play it safe, but that's not our story. Only the bold. It's our mission. A call for risk takers and change makers to shine. In the classroom, in the community, and in competition. Bold is our past, our future, our passion. Bold is the next level. The Big West, only the bold.
Malama is to cherish and protect the reefs, the fish, the birds, the winds, and the land. Giving back, that's something that lasts generations.
Learn how you can Malama Hawaii at gohawaii.com/malama.
There are places on this planet where the sunset truly outdoes itself. Where music is as constant as the urge to be barefoot. Where you're welcomed with love, respect, and a soundtrack. Outrigger Resorts and Hotels. Come be here.
The word malama translates to taking care. We malama the land that feeds us. All of that energy that's being put in the ground gets transferred into food. It allows us as a people to thrive as well.
Learn how you can Malama Hawaii at gohawaii.com/malama.
The road to the 2024 Men's Volleyball National Championship runs through the Big West. The Hawaiian Islands presents the 2024 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, April 18th through the 20th on the campus of the University of Hawaii. Catch America's premier men's volleyball conference in a battle for an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. Visit bigwest.org for more information.
Welcome back to the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball Preview Show presented by the Hawaiian Islands. CSUN and UC San Diego are tied for 5th in our preseason poll. Here's Chloe with a closer look at the schedule for the Matadors.
The Matadors will have some exciting matches this year, including when they take on GCU January 4th and Central State University on January 27th. March 5th will also be a big one against Penn State. Rob had the chance to talk with Coach Theo Edwards and Kyle Hobus.
All right, good day, everyone. On screen with me are CSUN's head coach, Theo Edwards, and redshirt senior outside hitter, Kyle Hobus. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, the first question I'm going to direct towards Theo, and obviously you were one of 2 first-year coaches of the Big West last year. What were some key takeaways from that 2023 season?
You know, I took over in this chair just after Thanksgiving, so just about a year ago, and it was kind of a whirlwind, right? From, you know, the beginning of December, kind of through Christmas break, and then rolling right into season. And I think I learned a lot about myself. I learned obviously a lot about the team, but our team has really grown. I've grown as a coach, and you know, I think this is our first fall as a unit, and I feel like things have been a little bit different and more, you know, to the tune of what I feel makes the most sense and what these guys need. And they've really responded incredibly well and worked really hard. So it's been quite a 12-month turnaround, but it's been a lot of fun.
You actually mentioned it in your previous response, but as a Matador alumnus, what does it mean to you to be at the helm of this program?
I think it means everything. You know, I go back to what it was like for me as a player, and I think about the experience. I think about, you know, how much value being a student athlete at the Division I level and playing for CSUN and what that meant to me as a person and how it shaped my growth and my family and where I'm at today. I think that it gives me the ability to focus on these guys in a way that's very holistic and very, very unique to thinking about how the decisions that we make and the things that we can provide them are going to affect their lives down the road. for me, there's definitely a pride that's invested in that, right? Like trying to see these guys have a really, really great experience and go on to build connections and relationships that last well beyond their years here at CSUN and, hopefully into their adult lives. So I'm invested in so many ways, and I think that's what makes it so fun.
Well, let's bounce back over to Kyle here. And last season, you were tagged first team All Big West. And with that, you kind of put a target on your back. But what's your mindset coming into this upcoming 2024 season?
It's obviously like a huge honor, like getting to play with like some of these people in this conference, and to be recognized as one of the best with them is a huge honor. But I don't know, I put the work in like every year and every season, so I've just kind of had that same mindset of growth the last couple of years. So that's what I'm doing this year too.
Put a very easy question to both of you. In one word, describe Big West Conference play. Let's go to Kyle first.
I'll just say electric. I think, just playing in the gyms against everybody there's just so much competition, so much fire from like the fans and everything and the players that's what I'm gonna go with, electric.
I think I'm gonna use parity. I think for many years there's been a little bit of a hierarchy in the Big West, and for sure Hawaii and Long Beach I think have been at the top end of that. And I think this year there might be some really interesting things that take place. Irvine is looking really good this season, and I think it's going to be really, really interesting to watch the Big West play out. And parity is going to be one of the words that we're going to be using for sure.
Special thanks to CSUN's head coach, Theo Edwards, and outside hitter Kyle Hobis for joining me today.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.
Up next, we've got a closer look at the Tritons of UC San Diego. Here's Chloe with more.
This season, the Tritons will take on Ohio State on January 13th, Princeton on January 16th, and UCLA on January 26th. That's a few big games from this year's schedule. Now here's Rob with Coach Brad Rostratter and Josh Schellinger.
All right, on screen with me are UC San Diego head coach Brad Rostratter and the All Big West freshman team honoree, Josh Schellinger. Thanks for joining me today, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, we're stoked to be here. We're stoked to hang out with you, Rob.
Well, Brad, I've got to go your way first because you are the trial by fire coach only after 1 year, your first season of the Big West last year. But what were your key takeaways from the 2023 season?
Yeah, 1 year anniversary was like a month ago, so we're getting comfortable here. We figured out where the nice Christmas sweaters are, or the holiday sweaters are, and the biggest takeaway is we got a great group of guys, and it was just a matter of figuring out and observing and seeing what areas we needed to really create change, more so within our team and within how we operate, and less so on the court, and really making sure that we're building team culture, team dynamic, and a program that is really set up to thrive over time, where a lot of that's going to start this year and really continue far into the future.
Well, it kind of started even last year. So this question is for you, Josh. But Tritons took down then number 12 CSUN and perennial Big West powerhouse UC Santa Barbara. But what were your thoughts on your team last season and the upcoming season?
We were a young team, graduated 6 guys, and I thought that even with those 6 guys graduated, we showed a ton of potential. And when we were playing our high level volleyball, I thought we were playing freaking amazing. We just got to find the consistency, I think, in the lower level volleyball and kind of raising that level. And then I think after we raise that level, we'll be a competitor with a lot of the Big West teams, actually all of them.
Well, it looks like you've got a bunch of local talent based on what I can see on your roster so far, but what part are they going to be playing in this upcoming season, and how did they look in the fall? And we'll start with you, Brad.
Yeah, we have mostly California guys. We have 2 Chicago guys, Josh being one of them. He was wearing shorts and a t-shirt all before I made him throw on the holiday sweater, but the fall went well for us. We ended up competing against some really tough teams and getting to see our guys in a new year and in a new context. And there was a few guys that weren't able to compete that will be helping us this year as well. So it's been really fun just getting in the gym, training, and seeing how everything's going to come together and seeing how we're going to be able to really ultimately put together 25 points each and every time we go out to compete and go try to win a set.
Well, I'm going to hit up Josh with this question, but being that you've kind of got on the radar of a bunch of teams now, being with that All Big West freshman honor, what does that mean for you and your game, and what have you done in the off season to improve?
I guess just kind of improving in my weak points, I think, is the main thing. I'm not going to necessarily go over them specifically, can't give it away, but just kind of getting a little bit more depth into my play, like more shots and just being more of an all-around player rather than excelling in like one or two different areas, excelling in all the different areas. So kind of just like sprucing up that gameplay will be like the major key for me, I think.
Now, who are some of the other names that we could be seeing on the Triton's side of the floor come 2024?
Yeah, there will be some familiar faces and some familiar names for you, Rob, but Gabe Dyer will be our setter. He's returning as well. We also have Evan Boyle, our returning libero, Jim Garrison, a returning middle blocker for us. Garrison and Boyle both were also on the Big West all-freshman team as well. And then we brought in two transfers, Anthony Sherfon from BYU and Luke Chandler from Long Island University. So bringing in both of those guys to help us out on the right side to make up for losing Berkeley Meesfeld from this past season.
Again, this is Josh Schellinger of UC San Diego, along with head coach Brad Rostratter. Thanks for joining me today, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
There's plenty more on the Big West Men's Volleyball Preview presented by the Hawaiian Islands. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball Preview Show presented by the Hawaiian Islands. Chloe Clark here alongside with Rob Espero. Rob, UC Santa Barbara is the #4 team in our preseason poll. What do you like about the Gauchos?
If anyone knows anything about the Gauchos, it's head coach Rick McLaughlin and his coaching staff get the grit, grind, and gusto on their team to get those scrappy wins.
Here's a closer look at the Gauchos. There are big opponents UC Santa Barbara will take on this year, including George Mason on January 5th and UCLA on January 25th. For more on UC Santa Barbara, Rob Espero sat down with Rick McLaughlin and Jaden Glenn to get a better sense of their team and how they plan to produce this season.
Good day, everyone. And on screen with me are head coach of the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, Rick McLaughlin, and Libero, Jaden Glenn. Thanks for joining me today, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Good to hear from you, y'all.
It's such a great time, especially when the 2024 NCAA Division I/II men's volleyball season comes in hot in January. And with that, we want to get a preview of this very, very threatening UC Santa Barbara team always. But what's made you so successful?
It sounds corny, but it's the guys. It's the guys that work real hard and have success. And it started with our 2011 team that, I came in and Kenny had recruited an incredible class, and I got handed these guys, and we trained hard, and they bought in, and they made it all the way to the championship match. And then it just trickles down. They teach the guys that come in and so forth. And we've had a couple other trips, to the Final Four, and we're just knocking on the door. And I think this group can do it. I think they can get there too. It's just, we got to learn the same way all these other groups have learned how to compete and value every point. And they're getting there. They're working really hard, and this group's going to be a great group.
So, Jaden, I've obviously seen you through your juniors and high school career, and you've always been quite the grinder yourself, but do you feel that the other guys in the gym are the same or even more grinders than you are?
Oh my gosh, 100%. We have a lot of guys in our gym that have been developing from their freshman and sophomore years, and then we have 4 great new freshman players who have come in and are grinders as well. I think that's part of our identity. We're a scrappy team. We were a small team the previous years, but we've got a couple new big guys. So we're changing in that regard a little bit, but I think that scrappiness and that grindiness that we've had over the past couple of years, we're bringing it into this year, and we've been working hard in the gym this fall, so we're excited to show what we got come winter.
Being that you're the one that's in the gym every day, in the weight room, and traveling and hosting the home matches, but what is it that Coach does that makes the Gauchos so competitive no matter what the lineup they puts out?
Oh my gosh, I think teaching and coaching, they do a great job at coaching well-rounded volleyball players. So we don't just learn specific skills in the middle or as a setter. For me as a libero, you kind of get to learn everything. At the beginning of practice, we work a lot on ball control, and I think that's good for every single player on our team. You need to know how to do that. I think just our coaches do a great job with teaching us all the skills, and that helps us when times of injury to pretty much our entire team come about.
We know you're going to play some tough matches, but you're hosting the national champion UCLA you're at UCLA on January 25th. That's an obvious one to look at, but I'm going to ask Jaden, are there any particular matches you particularly look forward to in the preseason?
Obviously that UCLA match and the first tournament at Santa Barbara at the beginning of January, but probably going back east, playing against 3 good teams. That's probably my matches that I'm looking forward to the most.
How about you, Rick? I know you've made the schedule, but is there any preseason matches you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to University of British Columbia on January 2nd. That's the first match, so it's the most important to me for sure.
It's a better answer.
One off-the-cuff question for both of you guys, but in one word, how would you describe Big West Conference play and why?
Just competitive all around. The highest level of competition you can have in collegiate men's volleyball is our league, and so I'll say competitive.
All right, and Jaden, take a shot.
I would say it's a grind. A lot of games go 5, that you don't expect to go 5. So anything could happen, and it all matters in those crunch time moments.
Rick McLaughlin of UC Santa Barbara and Jaden Glenn, Libero for Santa Barbara. Thank you for joining me here this afternoon.
Thanks,
for
Rob.
having us.
Pass on the money, gets the set on the outside against the double block. Punch save there by Chalmers, and then from the outside, Ben Court.
We're now down to the top 3 teams in our poll, beginning with UC Irvine. Here's Chloe with a look at what's in store for the Anteaters this season.
Fans can look forward to watching UC Irvine play at the Outrigger Invitational starting March 7th, where they face Grand Canyon, Lewis, and Hawaii. Rob Espero caught up with Coach Niffin and Hilaire Heno as they revealed the team's expectations going into this new year.
Great to have head coach of UC Irvine, David Niffin, and All-American outside hitter Hilaire Heno joining me here today in our Big West men's volleyball preview. Thanks for coming on, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Let's start off with Coach Niff. Last season, how do you assess what happened as the Eaters surged at the Big West Championship and really competed at its highest level, and then finished ranked 5th overall in the AVCA poll?
Yeah, I mean, it's I love the legitimacy of being recognized by the peers in the industry. To go out ranked 5th, by other coaches, tells us we're competing in that top 5 range. In terms of the surge at the end of the year, I love to believe that we're a good second half team. We've got a really academic and intelligent crew. And so given time, I love our ability to problem solve and figure stuff out and get ourselves oriented for the stretch run, which is, legitimately hard to do in the fall when we're not playing a lot of outside competition. So,
well, for you, Hilaire, you got to be a part of that surge, obviously, towards the end. You really turned it on performance-wise. But how is it like going through that entire experience of competing in the regular season, going through a very competitive Big West season, and heading into that Big West Championship?
I think that we have been improving all throughout the year because we're just competing games after games, even the practices. Every practice we're competing like crazy. So I just feel like when we went to the Big West, we had the mentality of we have nothing to lose. Let's just compete and then we'll see what happens. And we ended up winning against CSUN, winning against Long Beach 3-0, and then I feel like we had kind of a lot of pressure when we played Hawaii because it was kind of new for us. So I'm very happy of what we have accomplished last year. And I think that we have learned from that. And then I think this year is going to be a very good year for us too. So I'm very happy for what we have done last year. I'm excited for this year.
Well, it's a great segue to my next question for you both. But what were your key takeaways from the 2023 season, being that strong finish? Well, I know you'd rather have moved on in the NCAA tournament, but from a outsider standpoint, UC Irvine was a team to watch out, and they felt threatened by how good you'd gotten at the end of the year. But what are your key takeaways, Coach?
Well, one key takeaway is it's nice to avoid the 3-6 matchup when you're going into a 3-day tournament in the Big West. And that's just the reality of the field. We put ourselves in a better position if we don't need to play 3 nights in a row. So that needs to be an objective for anyone trying to win the Big West tournament. So that's a takeaway. And then just reinforcing some of the old truths that we know about volleyball is just reinforcing the comprehensive service game. Obviously, we've got one of the best servers in the country here. Understanding the comprehensive approach and importance to a serving and passing game to put us in a position to be competitive with everyone. Those are some of the major takeaways for us.
How about for you, Hilaire?
Yeah, I have to agree with my coach. I feel like we have been working on us serving and passing a lot last year. Even though we were missing some consistency at the end of the year, we found that consistency. So we got ace less than previous games, and now we know that if you want to be as consistent as the end of last year, we have to work from the beginning of the 2023 fall, and that's what we have been doing every morning, just passing before practice, even during practice, just locked in on passing. And I think this is going to be a big part or the major key for us this year. It's the passing, because I think we have a good passing lineup. So if we just put work, we should be fine.
I want to stay with you, Hilaire, being that you're one of a handful of foreigners that are competing in NCAA Division I, II volleyball at the highest level. But you've been in the NCAA for 2 years now. But what are your thoughts on the competition in the other conference, and compare it with competition in the Big West Conference?
I feel like it's kind of even everywhere. Like obviously with the MPSF, they're all even, like they all compete like crazy. They all compete for a spot in the NCAA. Yeah, and I would add to that just by saying I think top to bottom, the comprehensive strength of the Big West is a differentiator. When we get to that conference schedule,
I think at some point last season, we had 4 or 5 of the teams ranked in the top 10 of the country, and looking at that is different. But when we get down to distilling the top teams from each conference, you've got a lot of teams that are capable of competing well for winning in the playoffs.
Well, next question, and this is still with you, Coach. You return a significant amount from your team from 2023 with some new faces in the mix, but you are also carrying a smaller roster this year, and especially in the age of NIL and early pro signings. What is your philosophy in doing so?
Yeah, I love that. This is to create the culture and the experience that I think is the most beneficial for the holistic development of student athletes within a UC Irvine context. And they'll be different for different schools. But for us, what I've found is my personal bandwidth to invest in individuals and groups requires a smaller roster. And, carrying 18 and, making sure that there's good role clarity for each of those 18. We're not trying to create, simply the competitive cauldron of, let's, hey, have you guys go out there, roll out a ball and figure out who the best 6 players are. We want to come in and have a path laid out that requires them to compete and execute, and keep up their end of the deal there. But role clarity is becoming a really big deal for us.
Well, with that, let's jump to the 2024 schedule. You talk about that preseason matchup against the 2023 national champion UCLA.
I love playing against tough teams because it's the only way we get better. I don't think we get better playing against lower ranked teams. I'm very excited because it's a great way to improve and to show the rest of the country what we're capable of.
I'm excited about the fact we get to play some of these tough non-conference opponents in January where there's still time to make adjustments and learn through the season.
UCI head coach Dave Nippon and outside hitter Hilaire Hano, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Love it. Thanks, Rob.
There's plenty more to come on the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball Preview presented by the Hawaiian Islands, including 2 teams with their sights set on a national championship. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the 2024 Big West Men's Volleyball Preview Show presented by the Hawaiian Islands. I'm Chloë Clark, he's Rob Espero. Rob, we're down to our final 2 teams, Hawaii and Long Beach State. 2 teams that have their sights set on being right here in Long Beach playing for a national title, correct?
That's correct, Chloe. And these 2 teams comprise one of the most intense rivalries in the nation and have 4 of the last 5 national championships in-house.
Here's a closer look at the Rainbow Warriors. Hawaii will have some important matchups this year, including Loyola on January 3rd and 5th, and when they play Stanford twice on February 7th and 9th. Rob Espero spoke with Coach Charlie Wade and Spiros Hawkes as they previewed what fans can look forward to seeing from their squad this year.
All right, on screen with me from the University of Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors, or I like to call the Bows, are All-American outside hitters Spiros Hawkes and head coach Charlie Wade. Thanks for joining me here today, gentlemen.
Aloha, Rob. Thanks for having us.
Aloha. Thank you for having us.
Always great seeing you guys, and that means the 2024 season is knocking on the door, so it's time to ask you some great questions and lead us all into this upcoming season. But Charlie, only 3 losses last year. Your program has 2 of the last 3 national championships. You yourself have a .695 all-time winning percentage. How have you maintained the powerhouse status for the Bows?
Well, it's a lot of hard work for a lot of people. We've had pretty good buy-in from the guys for several years now, and I think everybody's committed to being the best they can on and off the court, and it's correlated to a lot of wins.
I've had a really hard time trying to draft this question. I'm trying to ask it to the best of my ability on the fly here. But as an outsider, I feel like your team plays for something so much more than just the University of Hawaii on that volleyball court. Is that an adequate assessment? And if so, can you at least put into words what that is that they're playing for?
We say a lot, our lives are different, and they're different in a lot of different ways. We live in the most isolated place on earth, and certainly the fan support is one of them. And we do represent more than ourselves, and something that we talk about, it really kind of defines us, that you're playing for something that is really special to a lot of people. And when we're on one of those runs at the end of the year, heading to the postseason or in the postseason, the entire state is really enthralled and behind us. And we recognize that we bring a lot of joy and a lot of pride to a lot of people in this state. Lots of stories are people who are, really dealing with some really heavy stuff in their lives. And UH men's volleyball ends up being, just an escape to them, and something that they really can take a lot of pride and enjoyment in. So it's important to us. It's something, again, that we're just very humbled by, and continue to try to put the best product on the floor each and every night.
Excellent. Spiros, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people from the outside can see that as pressure, but we see it as love, support, and something that we are very grateful for. Like Coach Charlie said, we had very many times where people, express to us how important the team is for them, and I think that goes beyond any awards, any titles, and it's just something that we are very grateful to feel and be able to represent, like you said, more than the team, representing a whole state.
We're going to end on this question for Spiros here, but on the Hawaii broadcast, on Hawaii radio, you've been tabbed the Greek Freak. They're going to be without Grease Lightning this year, but that name is so apropos for you because you come in big in the clutch. What makes you the big-time player in those big moments?
I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that question. I don't call myself any nicknames, but I think it's something that I've been trying to do since I was really younger. In my club teams back in Greece, I always like stressful situations, close games, fifth sets. And I always like to be the guy that's going to have the pressure. And I think I was always able to handle it. Not always in the same way, but I've grown to learn how to handle pressure in my own way, which I think works. But I think, if that answers the question.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that's Spiros Hawkes, outside hitter for Hawaii, and head coach Charlie Wade of the Rainbow Warriors. Appreciate your guys' time today. Thank you for coming on.
Well,
thank you. Aloha.
The top team in our 2024 poll is all that remains in this year's Big West men's volleyball preview. Here's a look at the schedule facing Long Beach State.
Fans can get hyped to see the Beach open up this season January 12th against LIU. They will also take part in the Long Beach State Invitational February 16th and 17th against Central State and Edward Waters. Long Beach State will be setting the standard nationally. Rob caught up with Coach Alan Knipe and Aiden Knipe to find out what it'll take to return to the national title match.
Hey, on screen with me are head coach of Long Beach State The Beach, Alan Knipe, and the back-to-back AVCA All-American Honorable Mention honoree, Aiden Knipe. Thanks for joining me here today, gentlemen.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Hey, I want to jump right to the first question to you for Al. And essentially,
You return almost your entire starting lineup except for middle blocker Shane Holdaway. But it seems like you've really loaded up on talent for this upcoming season. But what differences, if any, could people see on the beach this year?
Well, yeah, we lost a couple of guys that were important to our team. Obviously, last year, Shane and Grant Merope played a lot of matches for us in the middle, and obviously Spencer Olivier carried a big part of our offense for a few years. But we're a little deeper on the outside and a little healthier. We had a couple of guys that were dinged up last year and couldn't play all season, so that gives us some nice depth. We got some good recruits that came in to help us on the left and on the right. I think we have some exciting pieces in the middle to go along with Simon being just completing his first real year of being a middle blocker for us. Obviously, with Mason and Aiden holding down the libero and setting front, we feel pretty good about that. We have some depth to give it a different look, spell some guys, get some fresh legs in there, maybe some matchup opportunities. But it's been really exciting in our gym. It's been a great fall as far as the competition we've gotten in some of our fall tournament dates. Unfortunately, we dealt with the injury bug quite a bit in the fall, so hope we got that out of the way. And most of our guys here are nice and healthy at the end of the fall. So yeah, we're excited about it. It's just a wonderful group of guys, wonderful culture in our gym, like always, and these guys want to be really, really good.
Good stuff, Al. And I'm going to bounce this question over towards Aiden because, being that he's a big part of the offense for the beach, but how do you feel like you played during the fall with these new pieces in place, and how could they make an impact to the 2024 team?
Well, it's nice. I've been able to have the luxury of playing with a lot of different really good pieces throughout my career, but we have a lot of depth this year. And although we dealt with a decent amount of injury in the fall and we kind of went in and out of that, there were still guys that were able to step up to the plate. And I think the biggest advantage that gives us is the training level in our gym is just unbelievable. We can play at an extremely high level every day, interchanging pieces, no problem, and creates a very competitive environment for us.
Two final questions for you both. And the first one to get towards Al, but what's the best thing about being able to coach your son?
It's an absolute pleasure. It's easily the greatest thing that I've ever been able to accomplish professionally. It's just such a treat to be going through this experience with Aiden. I've coached so many different kids over the years, which has been wonderful. But to travel with Aiden, to train every day with Aiden, the passion with this university our family has, his personality, his work ethic, his commitment to improvement himself physically, and everything he's went through, this toughness. It's been so fun to watch it develop to the player he's become this year. And he's the type of kid who comes in, you don't have to push Aiden to do much. He's always going to be one of the hardest working guys in the gym, the weight room. He's already graduated early. He's in his master's, and so it's not like you have to do a lot of poking. So you'd be able to sit back and talk volleyball and talk experiences and philosophies. And it's a bright setter for us. And it's been an experience of a lifetime.
Well, on the other side of the coin, Aiden, how's it like, or what's the best thing about playing for your dad?
Well, I wouldn't only just say my dad, but I think he touched on it as well. It's kind of a whole family affair. My mom doesn't get a lot of credit, but she also went to Long Beach, and then my brother was a dirtbag. So I think it's really special between me and my dad, of course, but it's really special for my family just because we all get to kind of share this common bond. And obviously being in the gym with my dad every day and getting to play these big matches has definitely strengthened our relationship and kind of added a new facet than we had previously when I was just in high school or growing up or whatever. So this was obviously something special to me, and I'm looking forward to finishing it on a high note in this last year and seeing where it can take us.
Excellent. Alan Knipe, head coach of Long Beach State, Aiden Knipe, setter of Long Beach State. Thanks for joining me this afternoon.
Awesome.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Volleyball fans, there you have it. Everything you need and more to get ready for the season. Rob, before we go, what are you most excited for the upcoming season?
Chloe, all I know is there are going to be intense battles in the Big West Conference this year, so it'll be a good time.
Fans, remember the Hawaiian Islands presents the 2024 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship is set for April 18th through 20th at the Stan Sharp Center on campus of University of Hawaii. Check bigwest.org for ticket information. For Rob Espero, I'm Chloe Clark. Thanks for watching and enjoy the season.
It's easy to play it safe, but that's not our story. Only the bold. It's our mission. A call for risk takers and change makers to shine. In the classroom, in the community, and in competition. Bold is our past, our future, our passion. Bold is the next level. The Big West. Only the bold.
The abundance of stress on travel day creates the most unusual of situations. Bad fast? The ticking of the clock is like a fierce mother bear who hasn't eaten, unfortunate for the stream of white shirts swimming with the lone red outlier. Good fast? Well, that's found at Ontario International Airport. Like a swift sailfish, ONT combines meticulous care and speed to master their surroundings. Because in the airport kingdom, faster is always better.
The road to the 2024 Men's Volleyball National Championship runs through the Big West. The Hawaiian Islands presents the 2024 Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship, April 18th through the 20th on the campus of the University of Hawaii. Catch America's premier men's volleyball conference in a battle for an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. Visit bigwest.org for more information.